Welcome to Easy Email Marketing. I'm your host, Yael Keown, mum, FIFO wife, MBA, coffee lover, survivor superfan, and creator of the email experience. In Easy Email Marketing, you'll benefit from my nearly 20 years experience, where I'll be teaching you all the tips, tricks, and insider info on how to create feel-good, non-spammy experiences for your subscribers. Let's get stuck in. Welcome back to Easy Email Marketing. I'm your host, Yael Keown, and in today's episode, I'm going to take a little step back and look at the big picture of email marketing and how to get started. Now, even if you do have some of your email marketing set up, please do stick around, as you may find you have missed a crucial step. Or perhaps you've done the first 5 steps, but you are missing out on the true potential of email marketing by stopping where you have. Email marketing is definitely one of those things that you could be working on forever. There are just so many layers. It never ends. We can come up with new strategies. We definitely see all of those new ideas all over Instagram, and I am full of them and very happy to share all my excitement about the potential of email marketing. But that is also why it can be incredibly overwhelming. You've got all of those shiny objects. But those shiny objects are no good if you do not have the foundations right. So this is where these 8 steps come in. Now, these are pulled directly from my free new course, Get Started with Email Marketing. Think of this episode as the outline. Okay, but the free course goes into each of these so much deeper. So even if one of these points is something that you feel you need to go deeper on, then absolutely I recommend you sign up for that free program. No obligation at all. You can register at yaelkeown.com/start. Okay, with that said, here are the 8 steps to conquering your email marketing. Now, step 1 is one that I talk about all the time, and I always recommend you begin here and not even touching a piece of software, and that is to brainstorm ideas. One of the biggest things that prevent people from doing email marketing is I think I have no idea what to send my list. So we want a ton of go-to ideas that will inspire us and motivate us to actually get started. So we want to feel confident that we have emails that will go out that will, that our audience will want to read, which will encourage us to actually sign up. Now, if you've been using social media, you're creating content all of the time. So pretty much we can start there. But I recommend just brainstorming as many ideas as you can of all the different things you could send your list. And they don't have to be big, epic ideas. They can be simple answers to frequently asked questions. They could be quick tips. It could be little hacks, whatever it is. Combined, of course, with your sales messaging. Brainstorm those ideas, have a look at your marketing calendar, see how you can use email as a way to support you in all of those efforts, and you will be amazed at how much more inspired you are to move on to step 2, which is perhaps the most daunting one of all, and that is to choose your software. Now, I'm not going to go into a lot of detail on this here in this episode. As I said, this is the outline. So you can find out a whole lot more inside the Get Started course, or I have a ton of resources on this very topic if you go to yaelkeown.com/software. Episode 5 of this podcast, I do a comparison, and 94, I do an update. Plus, there are a huge range of episodes dedicated to specific software that I support. So make sure to check all of those out. So here's just to say, I want you to choose something. Don't spend hours and hours and days and weeks analyzing and trying to make this decision. That is lost time. It is not that difficult to change if you do not like something. So just have a very brief listen to one of those episodes, or just join the Get Started course and go through that lesson and go, yep, I'm happy. I'm going to try this one. I'll trial this one and this one, see what I like, the look and feel of, and just go with it. And if you find it's a struggle, then switch it up. It's not that big a deal. You'll always learn something, but it is important you do not just, waste your time trying to choose something which is perfect. And definitely don't just ask in a random Facebook group what they think. Okay, step number 3 then is to get set up. So this is the least sexy part, but it is so important. So you might spend a day here just putting all your pieces in place. So here I'm talking about doing things like your domain authentication, which is all about making sure your emails get delivered, sender reputation, all of those buzzwords. I do have a previous episode which goes into detail on deliverability, and also a more recent one, episode 99, where I talk about authentication and the recent changes with Gmail and Yahoo Mail, etc. So there's basically giving permission for your email software to send emails on your behalf. Then there's things like setting up your Google Analytics so that you can see what emails are getting what results, putting in your branding, creating templates, and very important, and one thing that we want to check from the beginning is integration with your other software. So your e-commerce store or your calendar booking software, or any form software you might have, cart software, anything that you will integrate with at a minimum to identify who your customers are and who they are not, or your clients are and who they are not. But just anything that's going to make your processes easier. So that's step 3. Now, so those first 3 steps, we haven't started sending emails yet. And we're still not going to do that at step 4, because step 4 is your first signups. And this lesson, actually, I shared in my last podcast episode as a sneak peek. So this, I'm not going to go into detail because you can just go and skip back to listen to 105 to get the full lesson. But the idea here is we want to pitch your list. We want to give people a reason to sign up, because they are not giving their email address out willy-nilly. They want to, they need something in exchange for that email address. So they don't want to subscribe to a newsletter. So you don't have to have the flashiest lead magnet in the world for this to happen, but you do need to give them a reason. So tell them about your ideas. What are the things you're going to send them that they won't get anywhere else, and have that as your pitch. And make sure you put your forms in obvious places. I do want to mention this here, and you are sharing it, you are promoting it. You're not just hiding it all the way down in your footer or a pop-up that appears once and then disappears forever. We want to make it easy and obvious for them to sign up. Okay, now then on to step 5, which is welcoming. So welcoming your subscribers. So even if you do have a list already, you might want to do a little bit of a re-engagement sequence, which kind of is an adaptation of this welcome series as well. And the welcome series is an automated series of emails that comes out immediately after someone signs up. And this is really, really important, because this is when people are most interested in what you have to offer, or when they're most actively looking for a solution to a problem. So this gets the most opens, especially the first email, which gets, between 70 and 80% of opens, which is huge. But the idea here of this welcome series is that you can help someone make an informed decision about whether they buy from you or work with you, or whatever it is to take that first step. So you have probably hopefully got a fair idea where they are now, where they're signing up. They're unsure, they're uncertain, they want to make a decision. So you want to be able to help them make that decision on a logical level, on an emotional level, on a, combating any excuses. So you can strategically craft a series of emails that go out automatically that help someone make that decision. Right, and you can actually repurpose those and send those as well to anyone who's already on your list too. We definitely don't need to be writing 100 emails for the sake of it. And now you have welcomed your subscribers, we move on to step 6, which is all about sending. And this is getting in the habit of sending emails regularly and, maintaining that interest and that connection. Now, of course, this brings up a whole range of questions like how often should I be sending? When should I be sending? What type of content? What should go in the emails? All of that stuff I've covered inside the free course. But I guess I would cover here, please just choose something realistic for yourself. I would encourage you to do something more than monthly, but choose a realistic schedule for yourself and just make sure that you stick to it, but don't tie yourself too far down that you get stuck and you all of a sudden, if you miss a day, that you go, you give up, and then you feel like you have to start again. So don't make any strict rules for yourself, but do make a commitment. Do make it a habit. Make something realistic. And my biggest tip here is to make it easy for yourself by aligning it with the rest of your marketing and business strategy. none of your marketing efforts should be on an island doing their own thing. Instead, what content are you going to be writing for socials? What are you promoting right now? What is a logical thing to be talking about at this time of year? Align it with that, and that should make you coming up with ideas a whole lot easier. So they are the first 6 steps, and really that is where many people begin. But steps 7 and 8 are really where the true power of email comes in. So step 7 is to add automation. Now at this stage, you've already actually added one automation in, which is your welcome series. So when someone signs up to your list, you send out a series of emails. And that's all automation is. Like, if this happens, then that happens. And within all your software, they have so many different ideas, so many different pre-built automations that you should be able to create this easily. And you can go so far down the rabbit hole with this, but there are a ton of basic automations you might want to include here, like things like retargeting ones, like your abandoned carts or browse abandonment or rebooking reminders. You might want to add some things that help with your customer service. So post-purchase, how can you support your customers? How can you onboard your clients or your students or your members? How can you use email, say that when someone buys something, this is what happens. You can do things like if someone views a certain page, you send certain emails. So we can add these automations in, and what's brilliant about this is all of a sudden you are sending not only the great messages, but you're sending them at the right time for your individual subscriber. So it's a much more tailored experience. And then going on to step 8 is where we get even deeper and it gets even better for your subscribers, is using segmentation. So this is creating different experiences for different groups of subscribers. So you would talk to your customers in a different way than you might talk to your non-customers. Now, this doesn't have to apply to every email, but at least in some emails, if you're trying to promote a course, you don't want to promote it to people who have already purchased that course. It can be at a very simple level like that, or it could be that you reward your regular clients with extra stuff versus people who you're just trying to get into your world. You can also do this based on categories of customers. People are at of customers or subscribers. They could be at different stages in their journey, or you could have different interests. There are so many different ways you can segment your audience, and you can use this for either your campaigns, so your broadcasts, whatever your regular emails are, or within your automations. So that's where it really goes on turbocharge. So within your automations, you can say, if they do this, then you can then send this email. If they didn't do it, maybe send them a reminder to click on that link or to fill out that form, whatever it is. And that is where gets so fun and so creative, and the world is your oyster. But if you haven't completed the first few steps, we don't want to skip to this, but this is where you're going to go. And it is really, really fun and really, really exciting to work with. Now, as I mentioned, this is the outline of this free course. In terms of the 8 steps, of course, I got a whole bunch of extra stuff in there about FAQs, about how do you know if you're doing any good, when's the best time to send emails. I talk about what email marketing really is. So you can get all of that at yaelkeone.com/start totally for free. I'll also mention as well that if you're thinking, okay, I love this idea, but it is still overwhelming for me, I still can't see exactly how it's going to apply to my business, then absolutely go to my website at yaelkeone.com. Check out the Work With Me page, because I do one-on-one consulting, whether it's through just a single session where we can really map out what your email marketing would look like, or what your automations and your segments would be, right through to actually setting all of that stuff up for you. So via either a VIP day or a more ongoing, collaborative relationship. So check that out as well in case that is of any interest. I haven't mentioned that option for a while. But if you want to just get an idea of what I'm about and get an idea of how to get started with email marketing, then head on over to yaelkeone.com/start. Thank you so much for joining me today. I would love to hear from you about what you've enjoyed from this episode or what you want to know more about. So please let me know over on Instagram. I am at yaelkeone, and I'll see you in the next episode. Thank you for listening to Easy Email Marketing. It's an absolute honour that you chose to listen. If you love this episode, then it would mean the world to me if you could leave a review so that others can find this podcast and make their email marketing easy too. Finally, make sure to subscribe so that you don't miss a thing. Until next time, have an awesome day and make sure to keep showing up and serving in those inboxes.